Hey, this is Ari, and in this video, I want to share a little clip from a recent podcast I did with my good buddy, Ben Pakulski, who is a former champion bodybuilder and a giant of a man. He was actually down here in Costa Rica recently, staying in my guest house, and I had the pleasure of getting to know him, doing many walks together, spending a lot of time together. And he's just a wonderful, brilliant human being with so much wisdom to share on so many topics, particularly, of course, optimizing body composition, muscle gain, fat loss. But also, he's a very deep thinker and philosopher and has a lot of wisdom to share about life more broadly, and particularly around the value of self-discipline, which he has just mastered to a degree that probably is actually not probably, certainly is beyond pretty much anybody else I've ever met in my life. So wonderful podcast. Check out this clip, and also make sure to listen to the full length podcast down below. You can find the link for that in the description below this video. Enjoy.
I think the simple way to think about it, Ari, is like, I don't have to want to be Warren Buffett to want to make money, right? I don't have to want to be a Mr. Olympia competitor to want to have a lean, healthy, and muscular body. But there's certainly something to be learned from Warren Buffett, right? And maybe I'm not Warren Buffett of the muscle building world, but I certainly took it to a level that most humans will never be able to experience. I learned a lot along the way. Most importantly, what not to do, right? Where not to focus your attention. And I think the worst thing to do is to train in a way that is mindless in anything you do, right? Whether you're walking or running or cardio or CrossFit or anything. The biggest opportunity that I think exists in exercise, on top of building the foundational health of your system, exists in doing things in a way that integrates the body and mind, right? So some people think of the body and mind as these two separate entities. And I'm sure you've talked about this on your podcast, is like these things are inextricably linked. You can't separate the body and mind. So as I train the body, I am also unequivocally training the mind. So no matter what I do, the state of mind that I carry with me when I'm moving my body, when I'm training my body, when I'm meditating, when I'm walking, anything, will also then be transferred into other areas of my life. So why is that interesting? Well, I think exercise, on top of the massive known scientific benefits, which are really starting to come to light in the last 5 years of resistance training in general, for anyone, regardless of your objective, even if you're trying to lose all your fat, even if you're trying to be lean, healthy, muscular, like you still want resistance training. But I think the greatest benefit is, in order to change anything in your life, the single prerequisite that we must have is mindfulness, right? In order to change something in my life, I must become aware of that thing, right? After 35 years old, 95% of things we do are unconscious. So until I become conscious of those things that I do, I can't change them. So exercise affords us this incredible opportunity in a controlled environment to become mindful of where we are in space and time, right? So we can take our attention from the outside of our body, which is, watching things going by, watching this podcast, really watching anything, and bring it inside of our body. So when I'm training muscles exist inside of the body. So I teach this in exercise, right? We have an internal view of exercise, right? Like a muscle-centric perspective, meaning I'm not thinking about the dumbbell in my hand or the resistance that's being applied against my body on the outside. I'm taking an internal view of exercise. So what is my muscle actually doing? So you're shifting that focus from the outside of the body to the inside, eliminating all the external variables, all the external noise and signals and sensor input coming in, bringing your attention inside of your body. And that single act of shifting your attention from what's happening outside of the body to inside of the body, even if it's for a split second to begin with, is an act of mindfulness equivalent to meditation, right? So it's like we're having this single point of focus. It's a meditative experience that also gives me the amazing benefit of resistance training on my body. So whether your goal is to change your finances, change your relationship, change your health, become aware of it. How do we do that? Intentionally curate periods throughout the day that are mindful, right? And it could be 3 to 5 minutes at a time. And one of the ways I explain this to my clients is like, all right, let's say you sleep 8 hours a day, which would be ideal. That leaves you 16 hours of the day for the rest of your life. So at this point in your life, those 16 hours of the day are filled up however they are. It doesn't matter. And we want to start slowly punctuating the day with bouts of mindfulness. And it could be ideally when we wake up, and then maybe it's before we eat, and then maybe it's sometime around midday, and then it's sometime around before dinner, and then again before bed. And we're punctuating with these little momentary increments of mindfulness. And if you start eventually punctuating it enough times and frequently enough, then they just start to overlap. It all starts to run together. You become mindful in your life. You're more effective at your relationships. You're more effective at your finances, at your business growth, at everything you do. And exercise can be the root of that, right? Exercise can be the opportunity that allows you to stop for a moment and pause and bring your attention inside of your body, right? So when I go into the gym, I can go in there and be mindless and go, oh God, I have to do this. And I'm just mindlessly moving a weight from point A to point B. I call it swinging weights like a monkey. It's like monkey see, monkey do, right? It's like this mindless stuff. Or I can go in there, I can use it as an opportunity to connect with my body, connect with my mind, and ultimately use it as a mindful endeavor. I think, hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully that's a really, the power of that is coming through in my words. I'm like, gosh, if I could just implement that once a day, or maybe it's like a couple times a day in really small bouts, I can start to change the way I view the world, right? It's no longer reactive. I can now create it. Because if I'm aware of it, I now have the ability to choose and create what happens after that, right? Whereas if I'm not mindful and I'm not present in the moment, it's just this reactive mindlessness that so many of us exist in. And I think for me, exercise, whether it be walking, running, yoga, breathing, anything, can become that opportunity to become more mindful.
Hey, this is Ari. I hope you enjoyed this video. And one more thing before you go. Actually, two more things. One is if you enjoyed this particular little clip, the link to the full-length podcast is in the description down below. So make sure to check that out. Also, one more thing. Let me ask you a question. What if I could show you how to double your energy levels and dramatically improve your brain function, reducing your anxiety and depression to a degree on par with antidepressant drugs, but without the side effects? Sound pretty interesting? Well, there are, in fact, numerous compounds that can do this, that have been shown to do this. And I'll take you through just a few of these very briefly. One of them is rhodiola rosea. And this has been shown in studies, rhodiola rosea extract, in people with stress-related fatigue and exhaustion to cut their levels of fatigue and brain fog in half in less than a month. Just this one compound. There's another compound in my formula Energenesis called NT factor phospholipids that's been shown to help repair mitochondrial membranes and mitochondrial health to the level of healthy 29-year-olds, taking people with deteriorated mitochondria who are over the age of 65, restoring it to the level of healthy 29-year-olds. And that has been shown in numerous studies in various types of chronic fatigue, aging-associated chronic fatigue, obesity-related chronic fatigue syndrome, to increase energy levels by 30 to 45% in the span of 4 to 12 weeks, depending on the specific study. So dramatic improvements in a very, very short period of time. Two more compounds that are amazing, I highly recommend, that are in my formula Ultra Brain, along with rhodiola rosea. Saffron extract. This has been shown to increase levels of, improve your mood, I should say, and decrease levels of depression on par with fluoxetine, which is Prozac. And not only that, but with fewer side effects. It's much safer and much less likely to cause negative effects than antidepressant drugs are. Acetyl L-carnitine is another compound that's been shown to dramatically improve brain health in older adults. It also improve energy levels in older adults with chronic fatigue by between 40 to 50% in just the span of 2 to 4 months. And the last thing I'll mention here is acetyl L-carnitine has also been compared to antidepressant drugs and been shown, like saffron, to be as effective as antidepressant drugs in combating depression, but without the harmful side effects that so often occur with the drugs. So this is just a small sampling of the over 35 compounds that are in my formulas, Energenesis and Ultra Brain, that are all proven to dramatically improve energy levels, mitochondrial health, and brain health, and much, much more. And I highly recommend that you go check these out. If you're struggling with depression or anxiety or brain fog, if you're struggling with stress-related exhaustion and burnout, if you're struggling with chronic fatigue, go check out these formulas, give them a shot. I promise you are going to be blown away by the results. And like I said, the science has already proven that these things work. So you don't have to just take my word for it. There's lots of research to support that, and I'll even link to some of that research down below so you can verify everything that I just said for yourself. So the links to those studies will be in the description for this video down below. So check them out. Check out the formulas on theenergyblueprint.com. Again, Energenesis is the mitochondrial formula, and Ultra Brain is our brain formula. Check them out, try them out, and I think you're going to be blown away by the results. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you again soon.